In today's video, we're going to be having a conversation about one of the top products that I think that people are truly sleeping on and could be one of the best investments going into 2023. Of course, before we jump into today's video, as always, if you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe. We've got multiple opportunities for you to enter since you can comment and like on each video, and then we've got multiple winners each and every week, so 3 opportunities to win. Outside of that, if you want to support the channel, join the Discord or check out any of our other special offers and products that we're selling, check all the links down in the description below. Now, jumping into today's video, one of the things, of course, I had a conversation about briefly on yesterday's live stream. Of course, you want to check that out. We do Q&A live streams Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. I can answer any and all of your questions. But something very interesting happened, and it kind of got me into a situation where I believe that there's some undervalued products to be invested in that potentially could be an amazing opportunity or could potentially go out of stock relatively soon. And I'll explain that right here now. So one of the conversations we had yesterday was about the Pokemon Go PC Elite Trainer Box. If you don't know, it recently went out of stock. Now, for an item such as that, right, the Pokemon Go Elite Trainer Box, it's not an item that you would presume is going to go out of stock, right? When you talk about some of these other sets that are available, you obviously have your Brilliant Star specialty ETBs, you obviously have your Shining Fates. There's some better items when it comes to ETB selections, especially ones that have been around forever, specifically, you know, the Brilliant Star ETB. That's been going around for, I mean, what? The set came out in February, so it's been going on for, what, 9-10 months now? So it's quite bizarre that you would say to yourself, okay, how is it Pokemon Go, which came out in July, which has been out for about 5 months now, almost half the time of the Brilliant Star ETB, and it's already gone out of stock, right? And if you guys remember the pattern or trend for the Celebrations Pokemon Center exclusive ETB as well, the price of that product went out of stock relatively fast, and then when, of course, the Pokemon Company announced there was going to be no more product reprints for Celebrations, and they dropped it and said this was it on our Pokemon Center website, then obviously it lasted a little bit longer, like a day or so, and then boom, it was just gone. And the price of it too, we can obviously talk about it from Celebrations perspective, but the price of it initially just kind of kept going up. It went obviously from around $87 onto the secondhand market, and it went all the way up to around $113, and then it kind of went sideways, climbed up to $117. Now the price, of course, has gone a little bit down. If you look at the lowest price, it's $103, but past that, you know, it's about $108 to $110. So prices, of course, have been either downward or stagnant with it. If you can see that in the chart, you know, kind of a slight downward stagnation price point. And so the value of this item in and of itself has, of course, kind of flatlined. But if you had purchased the product at $65, you were at its peak in flipping opportunity to make a decent margin. And you can still, of course, if you bought it at $65, make a decent margin of it. But as it stands right now, you're not going to, of course, be able to maximize profits. And the expectation is this is an item that's not going to get reprinted again. So quite interesting to see. Same concept kind of applies with the Pokemon Go Center Elite Trainer Boxes. Now, this is, of course, a product that, you know, for the most part, after its initial release, it kind of slowly has just been kind of grinding on down. And then since then, it's kind of found its bottom roughly around the $78, $79-ish price point. Do we have an expectation that this is probably going to be the bottom? Well, as long as it's out of stock on the Pokemon Center website, I have no reason to believe why it couldn't be entirely possible that this could be a bottoming point for an item like this, which, of course, you know, although I've mentioned many times before, I think Pokemon Go as a product itself long term will do a lot better just because of the nostalgic value inside the set, you know, having the first ever shiny Venusaur in a Pokemon set ever, second ever shiny Blastoise, etc., etc. I wasn't expecting that the specialty, you know, premium plus Pogo ETB to go out of stock so fast. So it was something that once again was extremely surprising to me. And it leads me to believe that there is going to be another product that is going to follow this theme. If you haven't already guessed it right now, based off of the 2 examples that I gave, you should know at this point that the product that I'm talking about is the Crown Zenith Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box Plus. Now, it's one that I've thought about because, as I've mentioned many times before in the past, when it comes to Pokemon Center ETBs, they're still relatively a new concept to us, right? This is something that was introduced in the Sword and Shield era, first came out with Chilling Reign, and it's been something that we've been continuously seeing grow and grow. Now, obviously, with Evolving Skies and Chilling Reign, the Elite Trainer boxes are much higher because the demand for them was much higher. But now that we're kind of in a pace of, slower demand growth within the hobby, it's very much a different kind of mentality, I should say, for most people. People aren't rushing to go buy every single PC ETB that's coming out. And I mean, even some of the older sets, of course, like Fusion Strike, which is weird to say that's an older set now. But that was one that people were like, hey, when is it going to go out of stock? And now it's gone out of stock. Wouldn't surprise me if Brilliant Star at some point early next year did also go out of stock. But in terms of, what we've noticed with the specialty ETBs, and by this specialty, plus ETBs, I'm talking about those 0.5 sets, right? 12.5 being Crown Zenith, because that's obviously a half specialty set. It doesn't come with, booster boxes a part of it. ETBs are the only way to acquire the most, product per pack typically. And so I think, one, Crown Zenith, following the trend of looking at these specialty ETBs going up in value or getting sold out quick, I think it could follow that trend relatively quick once the set comes out. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of panic and everyone's going to FOMO and people are going to be like, Eli, it's already sold out and it hasn't been released yet. I want you guys to know that, typically speaking, every time I get asked this question, historically, it's repeated itself the exact same way. People say, Eli, 2 weeks before it gets released, it gets sold out. I say, wait for the release date and a week after that, and then come back to me and see where we are. And like every single time, of course, history, it could always not repeat itself. But so far, what we've seen within the past year, typically, there's a lead up to it, goes out of stock, and then goes back in stock within a week after it's been officially dropped. Almost as if the Pokemon company is, of course, trying to see what the demand is for the pre-sale, and then if the demand is good, then they obviously are going to add more onto the market. So it kind of makes sense that they do it that way. So, if hypothetically you're watching this video now and it's out of stock at this point, I wouldn't panic, of course, unless you're watching this video like a year later, but if you're watching it around the same time that this set is released shortly after. Not to mention too, when you're talking about the arguments or the conversations we're having about Crown Zenith, it's already an argument that we're seeing is, hey, this blows Evolving Skies out of the water. This is going to be the best Sword and Shield era set of all time, etc., etc. The hype for this set is extremely real. Whether you agree it's the best Sword and Shield set of all time, or do you think that it's overhyped right now, and it's just going to be a really good set. It's going to be one of the best specialty sets, the 0.5 sets. The demand for this product seems to be potentially long-term. It could be extremely good. You look back at history and you see how Hidden Fates initially dropped. You were able to get Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes for around $45-$50 for the longest time when the set initially came out. Not to mention too, you had the Pokemon tins, so like the GX tins that were sitting at, I think it was $10. They were having a Black Friday special at Target where you were able to like buy one, get one free or something like that, which equated to it being $10. I can't remember the exact deal, or it was something that brought down the price to $10. But with a set like Hidden Fates, which is, regarded as one of the best sets of all time in Pokemon's history, of course, you can agree, disagree, but that's just the sentiment. It has me to believe that, with Crown Zenith coming in as a specialty set with a very similar amount of hype in a very similar market position as Hidden Fates was back in the day, it's entirely possible that this set could sit for a while. Not just the specialty, of course, Pokemon Center ETB, but just the product in general. And it could be one of the best potential sleeper pickup opportunities long term. I mean, we obviously know what's happened with, non-specialty ETBs, such as Cosmic Eclipse, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds. We're talking $250, $300 a booster box or an Elite Trainer box after it's, of course, gone out of rotation. Hidden Fates, while it was in rotation, was pushing $300 itself, which is crazy to think about. So what's to say that, the initial hype for this set, of course, is pretty low, and then it rapidly shoots up because the demand for the set increases rapidly, whether it be when there's a demand that is brought back into the market, or whether that be because the product itself, the hype buildup with the initial set, and then the release happens and finally prices go up. So all of this to say, there's many different scenarios in which this could play out. ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a product that I'm now very much looking into and considering as one of my best pickups ending the year of 2022 going into 2023, because I do think Crown Zenith, specifically, of course, just, Crown Zenith product in general, but this item in particular, I think could be one of the best sleeper products that people are just completely missing out on, while everyone right now is panicking on the fact that booster box prices are going up. Everything is just continuing to rise, and the mentality now is, okay, we're just waiting for Evolving Skies reprints, Billion Star reprints, and everyone's kind of sleeping on the opportunities that are being presented to themselves. And I think this, of course, not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is just one of those other opportunities that people are kind of, not looking at, or not paying attention to, because they're so consumed about all of the sentiment that's going on around the market. I mean, if you guys don't already know, there's been some rumors floating around that there was an Evolving Skies reprint, of course, for over in, I think it was in the UK. I can't remember exactly which country it was, but somewhere in Europe there was rumors of reprints for Evolving Skies coming. Of course, some people that I have talked to that I trust as sources have said it's been officially confirmed. We don't know what that's going to mean for the US, of course. That could mean that we're going to get ours soon. That could be, we're still a ways off. But everyone's so panicked about that news. You had the Pokemon Center have a restock yesterday. Everyone was so hyped up about that. They were obviously taking advantage of some of the older product that became readily available. But everyone's just, just kind of sleeping under the radar on this product. So, I think it's very weary, I would say, when it comes to making sure that you're keeping yourself in the zone, keeping yourself kind of in a state where you're not, of course, constantly looking at one thing and having that tunnel vision when it comes to what you're looking at in terms of investments. So with that, of course, all being said, I will just wrap it up here. Obviously, at this point, I'm just more or less just really digging on down the importance and the fundamentals of being a smart investor, and why, of course, you should make sure that you're never missing out on alternative opportunities, while the rest of the individuals that are, of course, a part of this community are panicking over the fact that there's alternative products that we don't even have available for pickup. But of course, with all this being said, as always, you want to enter into our weekly giveaways. Make sure you leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Of course, we have content that you can comment and like on, so it allows you for multiple entries. 3 winners each and every week, so multiple opportunities to win. If you want to support the channel, check out our wholesale distributors list on our Patreon, or join the Discord to take advantage of any of the awesome Discord channels and links that we have for awesome pricing on Pokemon opportunities. But that is all for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you all on Friday. Peace.